Welcome back. Today I'd like to talk to you about a facilitation technique called engagement strategies. I want to describe what they are and why they're so important. Engagement strategies are really how do you interact with your participants? How do they interact with you and each other in a way that really engages them in the conversation? So let's talk about the variety of options that you have and when you might want to use different strategies. The first thing I'd like you to think about is what is the scope of the discussion? You can have full team discussions, you can have breakout teams, or you can have individual reflection based on the topic at hand. Often full team discussions are great when you want to get everybody's ideas out. Breakout teams can often be good if you're trying to process multiple threads of discussion simultaneously. Individual reflections can often be very helpful on the front end of a workshop or the back end as you give people time to reflect personally. Now think about another component of engagement strategies. We've talked about the level of discussion, but now I want to talk about the kind of discussion that you might have. So there are four that I want you to consider. One of them is brainstorming, a very effective technique when you want to get initial ideas out. Or you might want to consider listing if there is a topic that's known and you need to fill in the details. If you've identified 10 or 12 different topics, it can often be a good time to group into buckets or themes. And once you've done that, prioritization is a very effective technique to go from divergence of a brainstorming or a listing to a convergence of those critical few things that will require additional attention. So we've talked about the number of people involved. We've talked about the type of conversation. I also want you to think about the way you'll capture information as part of your engagement strategies. You can do full team capture on a flip chart where you'll capture that information. Often very, very helpful for full team brainstorming. You can ask breakout teams to capture things on individual flip charts or post-it notes. Post-it notes, by the way, can be a very effective tool to use if you need to take that input and further prioritize it or group it. You can use full-page templates. If what you're attempting to do is capture more detailed information, I find this particularly effective if I've got teams doing detailed next steps planning in a way that is a little more modular, but more detailed than you can capture on a post-it note, for instance. So as you think about engagement strategies, I want you to realize the variety of tools at your disposal and recognize that if you are intentional about their use, that you can design workshops with a much higher level of engagement and a much higher impact. And after all, don't you and your participants both want that? Thank you.